Here's a genuinely strange thought worth sitting with. For the vast majority of human history, nobody could actually tell you the precise time. Not because clocks hadn't been invented yet in some general sense, but because the entire modern concept of precise, universally standardized time simply didn't exist in anything close to the way we casually take it for granted today. The actual story of how humans gradually learned to measure and divide time reveals a genuinely fascinating multi-thousand-year journey of steadily increasing precision. The earliest documented timekeeping methods relied entirely on directly observing the natural world around us, rather than using any dedicated mechanical device built specifically for that purpose. Ancient civilizations tracked the sun's daily position across the sky, the moon's monthly changing phases, and the broader annual seasonal cycle to organize both their daily activities and their agricultural calendar. These natural, directly observed methods provided genuinely useful information, but only ever offered fairly rough, imprecise time divisions, rather than anything resembling exact. Reliable, minute-by-minute precision. Sundials represent humanity's first genuinely dedicated timekeeping device, with the earliest confirmed examples dating back roughly 3,500 years to ancient Egypt. These early sundials used a simple raised object's moving cast shadow to divide daylight hours into roughly equal segments. Though the specific length of each individual segment actually varied meaningfully across different seasons, since ancient civilizations typically divided the daylight period itself into a fixed number of hours regardless of how the total actual daylight duration happened to change throughout the year. Water clocks, technically known as clepsydras, offered a genuinely significant practical advantage over sundials. They could reliably continue functioning at night and during cloudy weather, when a sundial obviously became completely useless. Ancient Egyptian and later Greek water clocks measured elapsed time by tracking water steadily dripping or draining at a carefully controlled, consistent rate from one container into another. And some genuinely sophisticated later versions incorporated float mechanisms and additional visual indicators to display elapsed time with considerably improved reliability and precision. Ancient China independently developed several genuinely distinct and separate timekeeping innovations, including remarkably elaborate water clocks, and considerably later, incense clocks that measured elapsed time by tracking specially formulated incense burning at a carefully controlled, consistent rate. Some of these Chinese incense clocks even incorporated small metal balls positioned to fall and produce an audible sound at specific predetermined elapsed time intervals, representing a genuinely early form of automated timekeeping alarm. Centuries before anything resembling comparable mechanical alarm technology developed independently elsewhere. The specific invention of mechanical clocks in medieval Europe, sometime during the late 13th century, represents the single most genuinely transformative breakthrough in this entire long timekeeping story. These earliest mechanical clocks used a verge and foliate escapement mechanism, a genuinely clever, carefully balanced combination of gears and an oscillating weighted bar that regulated the release of stored mechanical energy in small, precisely controlled, evenly measured increments, converting the previously continuous, steady flow of dripping water or burning incense into discrete, genuinely countable individual mechanical ticks. These early mechanical clocks were considerably too large, heavy, and expensive for any ordinary individual household to reasonably own, and were instead typically installed prominently in church towers and other important public buildings, where they specifically served an entire surrounding town or community rather than any single private household. The specific sound of these public clock bells striking each hour gradually introduced an entirely new, shared, and increasingly standardized rhythm to medieval daily life, one considerably more precise and consistent than anything that had reliably existed for the vast majority of ordinary people before. The pendulum clock, invented by the Dutch scientist Christian Huygens in 1656, represented a genuinely massive, dramatic leap forward in overall timekeeping accuracy and precision. Huygens specifically applied Galileo's earlier careful observations regarding a pendulum's remarkably regular, consistent swing to create a considerably more accurate and precisely reliable clock mechanism, reducing typical daily timekeeping error from many minutes down to just a small handful of seconds, and absolutely enormous. Transformative improvement in overall practical precision for that specific historical era. Portable watches developed alongside these larger mechanical clocks, though early versions remained genuinely quite large, bulky, and considerably less accurate than their larger stationary clock counterparts. The specific invention of the mainspring. A tightly coiled metal spring capable of storing usable mechanical energy without requiring the hanging weights that larger stationary clocks depended on made genuinely portable timekeeping devices practically possible for the very first time, though early portable watches still required frequent regular adjustment to remain reasonably accurate over any extended period. Marine chronometers solved a genuinely critical, high-stakes practical problem that had directly cost countless ships and sailors' lives throughout the age of ocean exploration, accurately determining a ship's precise longitude while genuinely far out at open sea. British clockmaker John Harrison spent decades of dedicated effort developing a marine chronometer accurate and stable enough to maintain reliable timekeeping, despite a ship's constant rolling motion, temperature fluctuations, and considerable humidity, finally solving what had become one of the single most important high-stakes scientific challenges of his entire era. Standardized time zones didn't actually exist at all until the specific expansion of railway networks during the 19th century created a genuinely urgent, practical need for consistent timekeeping across different individual towns and cities. Before railways, each individual town or city typically kept its own local time, based directly on its own precise solar noon, creating genuinely serious scheduling chaos and real safety hazards once trains began reliably needing to run according to shared, precisely coordinated timetables spanning multiple different towns simultaneously. Quartz clock technology, developed during the 20th century, dramatically improved everyday timekeeping accuracy by using a small quartz crystal's remarkably consistent electrical vibration frequency when a small electric current is applied, rather than relying on any purely mechanical gear or pendulum-based mechanism. This specific innovation made genuinely highly accurate timekeeping considerably cheaper and more widely accessible than ever before, and quartz technology quickly and thoroughly replaced traditional mechanical movements in the vast majority of ordinary everyday clocks and watches worldwide. Atomic clocks represent the current absolute pinnacle of achievable modern timekeeping precision. Measuring time based on the genuinely extraordinarily consistent, physically fundamental vibration frequency of specific individual atoms, typically cesium, when properly and precisely excited by a controlled external energy source. These remarkably precise atomic timekeeping devices are now accurate enough to lose less than 1 single second across many millions of years of continuous operation. And they specifically underpin the entire modern GPS satellite navigation system that so many people now rely upon every single day without ever really thinking about it. The Islamic Golden Age contributed genuinely significant timekeeping innovations that are often overlooked in popular Western accounts of clock history. Islamic scholars developed remarkably sophisticated water clocks and astronomical timekeeping instruments specifically to help precisely determine correct prayer times, which needed to be calculated accurately based on the sun's position regardless of the specific season or particular geographic location. This religious and scientific motivation drove genuinely real, measurable advances in both mechanical engineering and astronomical calculation that later influenced and directly informed subsequent European clockmaking traditions. Clock towers and public timekeeping displays became genuine symbols of civic pride and considerable municipal investment across medieval and Renaissance Europe, with wealthy towns and cities competing to build increasingly elaborate, technically impressive public clocks. Some of these public clocks incorporated genuinely remarkable additional features well beyond simply displaying the current time, including moving astronomical displays, mechanical figures that performed a small scripted show at specific designated hours, and calendar functions, transforming public timekeeping into a genuinely impressive combined feat of engineering and civic artistic achievement. The specific standardization of the second, minute, and hour, as we now understand and universally use them today, actually has genuinely ancient Babylonian mathematical roots, tracing directly back to that ancient civilization's distinctive base 60 counting system. This specific ancient mathematical choice is exactly why we still divide each hour into 60 individual minutes, and each minute into 60 individual seconds today. A genuinely direct, remarkably persistent mathematical legacy from a civilization that flourished many thousands of years before anything resembling a modern mechanical clock had ever been developed. Railway time itself created genuinely serious practical, legal, and commercial complications before formal standardization was finally achieved. Legal contracts, scheduled business meetings, and financial transactions all required a clear, mutually agreed shared reference time, and the considerable resulting confusion from having many different local town times in simultaneous use directly drove the eventual widespread adoption of standardized time zones, first specifically within individual countries and eventually across the entire world through international agreement. Clockmaking guilds emerged as genuinely influential, tightly organized professional associations across medieval and early modern Europe, carefully controlling training standards and closely protecting valuable specialized technical knowledge in ways broadly similar to other skilled craft traditions of that era. Master clockmakers typically required apprentices to train for many years before being permitted to independently produce and sell their own clocks, and this rigorous training system helped ensure genuinely consistent quality while gradually, carefully advancing the overall underlying craft across many successive generations of skilled practitioners. Wristwatches only became genuinely widespread and popular relatively recently in this whole long timekeeping story, gaining significant mainstream popularity specifically during the First World War, when soldiers found a watch worn directly on the wrist considerably more practical for coordinating precisely timed military operations than the previously more common pocket watch. This specific practical wartime military need permanently and genuinely shifted broader popular fashion and everyday practical habit, and the wristwatch has remained the dominant, most common personal timekeeping format ever since that specific historical turning point. Digital timekeeping, enabled directly by the same quartz crystal technology already discussed, introduced an entirely new way of visually displaying time using electronic numeric displays rather than traditional rotating analog hands. This particular digital shift proved genuinely significant, not just technically, but also culturally, changing how several successive generations of people actually learned to read and mentally think about time, with some now genuinely more comfortable and fluent reading a digital numeric display than a traditional analog clock face with its rotating hands. Astronomical clocks represent a genuinely fascinating specialized category that combined precise everyday timekeeping with detailed tracking of broader celestial movements, including planetary positions and predicted eclipse timing. Several remarkably elaborate examples still survive and remain fully functional today in various European cities, standing as genuinely impressive physical monuments to how deeply intertwined precise timekeeping and serious astronomical study actually were throughout much of human history, well before these two closely related fields eventually became more formally separated as distinct scientific specialties. The specific transition from purely mechanical to fully electronic timekeeping fundamentally transformed not just accuracy, but also genuinely reshaped the entire clockmaking industry itself. Traditional mechanical clockmaking, once a highly respected, carefully protected specialized craft requiring years of dedicated hands-on training. gradually gave way to electronic manufacturing processes requiring an entirely different, considerably more industrialized, specialized skill set, representing a genuinely significant historical shift in exactly how humans actually produced their own timekeeping devices. Time zone negotiations required genuinely significant international diplomatic cooperation, culminating in an 1884 international conference specifically convened to establish a single universally agreed prime meridian and standardized global time zone system. Representatives from many different nations had to agree on shared conventions that fundamentally affected everyday practical life, commerce, and navigation across their entire respective countries. And reaching this kind of broad international agreement required real, sustained diplomatic effort spanning many years of careful negotiation. Leap seconds represent a genuinely fascinating, still relevant, modern timekeeping challenge that most people never think about at all. Because the Earth's own rotation gradually and unevenly changes speed over time due to various complex geological and gravitational factors, atomic clock time and the Earth's own actual rotational time slowly drift apart, requiring occasional leap seconds to be periodically added to keep atomic clocks and the sun's actual position properly synchronized. A genuinely delicate modern technical balancing act between mathematically perfect atomic precision and the Earth's own naturally imperfect physical rotation. Understanding this fuller picture reveals that humanity's remarkable multi-thousand-year journey toward genuinely precise timekeeping reflects a broader, sustained pattern of steadily increasing accuracy directly driven by real, practical necessity, from ancient farmers carefully tracking the changing seasons to medieval towns coordinating shared communal life.